Hey gamers, been a while. Welcome to the first devlog of Groveheart, the 1-bit Metroidvania prototype that I'm currently working on. Groveheart's currently just a working title, but it might stick to the final version. The main idea of the game is that the player needs to use their shield to reflect enemies' projectiles back at them to defeat them. I know, it seems like I have a weird obsession with using the enemy's power against them. Blame Kirby, probably. Fun fact, Kirby Superstar Ultra for the DS is the first game that I remember owning. Few things to start us off. I don't know how long or how much that I'll work on this game. I think I want to make one explorable area and a boss for now, and then maybe I'll keep working on it after that. My guess is that I'll just finish the one area and then move on to other projects and games, but I might drop it before then or release it commercially eventually. It's all just up in the air at the moment. But without any further ado, let's just get into what I actually have done on the game. Hey, Future Dakota here, and even though I made a YouTube post about this, I know I'm going to get comments here about it, so no, I'm not going to be working on Sorcerer Shootout anymore. I know, I dropped it again, but I just wasn't enjoying working on it again, and I felt the scope was still too big. I just feel like it's time to move on and do new things. I'm going to move on from that project and leave the original as the true version of the game. A moment of silence for the remake, please. Alright, that's enough. Back to the new game. I started working on this game on stream, and the first thing that we decided was the main things I wanted the game to be and be about. For this, let's talk game design.
Yes, let's talk game design indeed.
Oh, when did you get in here? Yeah, sure, take it away.
The first thing Dakota needed to decide on was the genre and feel that the game would cover. It'd be a challenging Metroidvania with a pseudo 1-bit art style. Originally, the plan was to have no combat whatsoever and focus solely on the movement. However, Dakota really wanted to draw bosses in this art style, so he decided the combat mechanics would revolve around reflecting bullet back at the enemies. This of course creates a lot of possibilities for both combat and movement. For example, the player could use the reflection on hazards to boost themselves into the air like Hollow Knight's down attack. The thing Dakota needs to figure out, of course, is how exactly he wants that to work. At the time of recording, it works by the player aiming in 360 degrees, and holding the shield there as it reflects anything that it comes into contact with. However, Dakota's been thinking about changing this to only reflecting when a button is pressed, requiring a little bit more skill. He doesn't know what's right for his game yet, but I'm sure he'll figure it out because he's a genius game designer who is unmatched in his intelligence and overall brilliance. Dakota also clearly wrote this script for me to read. Anyway, I have to go back to work on Reiterate, which you can follow on my very own YouTube channel. Let's talk game design.
Thanks, LTGD. What nice things he had to say about me. There's a link to his channel in the description, but back to my game. After defining the main mechanics that I wanted in the game, I made a mock-up of the art style and the main character on stream. And we just remade Hollow Knight. This guy does kind of remind me of Hollow Knight, though. It's the only thing I don't like about it. Because it's, I don't know, it feels similar to Hollow Knight to me. I replaced the ram horns with antlers, which I think makes it look a lot less like Hollow Knight. I'm also pretty happy with this new character design. We also talked about what the story for the game would be. The main idea is that you play as a druid. In this world, druids are powerful warriors that are created by a grove to defend it when there are invaders. The grove's life source are these beating hearts that give the world magic and life. Essentially, robots infiltrate the grove and use the hearts to power themselves and their own ends, so the grove summons you, the druid, forth to defeat them. You must reflect the robots' attacks at themselves because druids cannot attack creatures that are not attacking themselves. They're peacekeepers, essentially. And that's basically the story / lore that I've thought of so far. I think it's interesting and different enough to be unique, but it also has some familiarity to not be too obscure. I didn't work on the game really at all until next stream. Like I said before, I wanted this game to be focused on movement and that kind of stuff, so I added some movement abilities. We created a double jump as well as a dash, and the dash worked exactly as planned from the very start, and I didn't have any trouble whatsoever getting it to work at all.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
The plan is to have these different abilities scattered across the map for the player to find and obtain by defeating bosses. I definitely want the player to be able to choose which places they go to and which bosses they beat, as well as which abilities they try to go for. I didn't work on the game until the next stream again, but during that stream a lot of progress was made. We added a new tile set, which I really like. It has tiles for the ground and walls, as well as some bricks for the background, and some grass to make the world feel a little bit more alive. We also made this wing flapping animation for when the player double jumps. Also, you may or may not know that I love world building, and it's my idea that there are intelligent life forms living in the Grove. They're not going to be humans, but instead they're going to be like anthropomorphic animals and various other unique creatures that aren't quite animals, but aren't quite humans either. I personally find these type of character designs to be more fitting for this kind of world that I'm creating. The structures you see in the background are all built by the inhabitants of the Grove. I made them all in natural shapes and in a dark color that sort of blends into the background to show that they aren't harming the Grove, and in fact, they're just living in harmony with it. Enough lore, I also added the first enemy of the game in that stream. It's extremely basic. It's the run-of-the-mill, walk in one direction, hit a wall, walk back enemy, but it also shoots bullets for the player to reflect. All of the enemies in the game are going to be robots with a similar design because of lore. But yeah, this is basically the state of the game right now. I think it looks nice and plays decently. I'm going to continue working on the feel of the game as well as add more content for it. But yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this game until I feel tired of it or I complete it. All the streams you saw me do in this video were all done at twitch.tv/Dakota Vaughan. I plan on streaming development of my games as well as me playing games occasionally there, so make sure you follow me and stay tuned. I also recommend you join my Discord. It's a fantastic place to talk to other game devs, artists, and just generally cool people. I also want to give another huge thanks to Let's Talk Game Design for making a cameo in this video. Check out his channel in the description below if you like devlogs and in-depth talks about game design. I think I'm going to start shouting out a YouTuber at the end of every one of my videos, and since LTGD was so kind as to cameo in this video, I decided who better to start with than him. I think the next one's going to be a pretty fun one. I'm going to be having another special guest, and I'm going to be doing some new things, so I think it'll be quite interesting. I feel like I don't normally ask for likes and comments and that kind of stuff, but liking and commenting really boosts my ego, so I'd appreciate it if you did it. Reading comments is definitely my favorite part of YouTube, so if you would be so kind as to leave one down below, that would be greatly appreciated and motivate me to create even more and better videos. Yeah, subscribe and all that stuff. Bye!
He's a genius game designer who is unmatched in his intelligence and overall brilliance. He's a genius game designer who is unmatched in his intelligence and overall brilliance. He's a genius game designer who is unmatched in his intelligence and overall brilliance.